The Last Supper. Jesus loves us so much. Jesus knew that he would die soon, so he shared his last Passover meal with his closest friends. During this meal, Jesus lovingly washed their feet. He gave his friends a special way to remember him, blessing and sharing bread and giving thanks and sharing wine. Jesus did all this because he loved his friends and us so much. The Last Supper. Jesus knew that the time he had come for him to leave this world. He wanted to share his last Passover meal together with his 12 closest friends, the disciples. Jesus loved his friends and wanted to show them his love in a very caring way. As the friends got ready for the meal, Jesus put water in a large bowl and knelt down on the floor. He wanted to wash the feet of each disciple. When it was Peter's turn, Peter said to Jesus, "You will never wash my feet." Jesus replied, "Peter, you don't understand what I'm doing now, but you will later." Peter loved Jesus so much that he said, "Then don't just wash my feet, but my head and my hands also." Peter wanted to be as close to Jesus as possible. As they were eating, Jesus sadly told his disciples, "Soon one of you will betray me. One of you will tell people who don't like me where I am so they can take me away." This upset the disciples, and each one said, "It's not me you're talking about, is it?" When Jesus said this, Jesus gently replied, "Yes, Judas, you will betray me." Then Jesus picked up a loaf of bread. He blessed it and gave some of it to each of his friends, saying, "Take this bread and eat it. This is my body." Then Jesus picked up a cup of wine. He gave thanks and said, "Drink this. It is my blood, which I must give up so that the sins of my people may be forgiven." When the meal was over, Jesus and his friends went to a place called the Mount of Olives. Jesus said sadly, "Soon you will all leave me." Peter felt bold. "Even if all the others leave you, I won't," he said. Jesus looked at his dear friend and said quietly, "Before the sun rises, you will pretend you don't know me 3 times." Peter said, "I love you too much to ever do that to you." And all the other disciples said the same thing. So this is the color sheet for today. And then you can go find the blue Last Supper color sheet and then your big poster. Remember, you can take this and in the square says Holy Week 3. So that's going to show you which one to color in the big sheet. So then you can work to color that number 3 that says Jesus and the disciples share the Last Supper. Now let's go through our blue worksheet. So the Last Supper. So we already colored our Holy Week big poster number 3. In the plate it says, draw your favorite meal on the plate. What do you think that Jesus had? He had what's called a Seder plate for Passover. That has a bunch of stuff that, a bunch of little different groups of people. But what is your favorite? Is it pizza or macaroni and cheese? Or is it a big salad? Or a big piece of meat and potatoes? Everybody's is going to be different. At church, we celebrate the Last Supper with pieces of bread or a wafer and grape juice. So this is the symbol of the Last Supper with the cup and the bread. Passover is a major Jewish festival that celebrates God rescuing the people of Israel from slavery in Egypt. The special meal that Jesus shared with his friends, the disciples, was a celebration of Passover. Today, Jewish people may observe a Passover with a special meal called a Seder. Then you can work to color that Passover word. Hope you enjoyed our story. We'll see you next week.